Yay Media Group.
Hi guys, it's Stephanie.
I'm Trey.
This is your weekly dose of BS.
Okay, we need to talk about something that has been blowing up my inbox for the last few days, and I'm sure it's been blowing up yours as well.
Oh, I don't check my inbox hardly ever, so I would not know.
Well, then if you did, it'd be blowing up your inbox. There was an article posted by D Magazine.
Okay.
And it is titled, "Why Did the Real Housewives of Dallas Fail?"
Okay.
So this article talks about some theories, but to be honest with you, the article wasn't packing the punch I needed. I read some comments that made some good points, but I want to go straight to the source first and hear from you. Why do you think, and also I just want to kind of address the title, Why Did Real Housewives of Dallas Fail? They did 5 seasons. I would not call that a failure by any means. If you did 1 season, you were out, sure. But y'all did 5 seasons. So calling it a failure is a bit of a stretch. But I want to hear from you why you feel like the show didn't make it to season 6.
It was supposed to at some point. I think a lot of it is everybody on the cast hated each other so much that it's kind of like New Jersey. Mm-hmm. When you get to a point where everybody on the cast has so much hatred towards each other, I really did not feel that way, but a lot of the girls would sooner they just would not make, a good housewife show, and what our producers always said that we really lacked. I think certain seasons we did, like season 2 and 3, I think we realized we were a cohesive group, and if everybody's working to make a great show, it really works. But then if you have people who do not look at it as a cohesive group, I think it really starts to fail. And that's what started, in my opinion, with our show is you had everybody wanted to be the star and nobody wanted to be in a group. It was never like a group dynamic. It was like nobody got over drama. It was like everybody took it way too seriously. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, you had all these people who really hated each other, and it was not fun to watch. I'm sure for the audience, it was not fun to live when you're not there, which is kind of weird because whenever we filmed, we all kind of got along a little too well a lot of the times. But I think off camera, when audience is involved, everybody wants to be, the star or whatever. And I think a lot of it is even to this day, you have members of our cast who just hate each other. And
that still won't get over it. No matter how much money they're offered, they won't.
And these are like people from every season, not just like season, the last season or season. These are people who just these are people who have issues from like seasons 2 and 3. It's like,
which at this point was 10 years ago.
But also, I think the ratings did stop to drop in season 5.
Well, I remember you saying season 5 when you were filming, you were like, this is, I think, the most fun I've had filming the show. And I also think this is our last season.
Yeah, I always told Trey the whole time I was filming season 5 that this is the last season. And I didn't feel like it was just the last season for me. I felt like it was the last season as a whole. And I was like, I'm really trying to soak this up because I know I'm not going to do this again. And do I feel like I have a little bit of intuition in life? I really do. I always have. And maybe it was intuition or whatever, but I said from the beginning, and everybody thought I was crazy. And I remember Carrie Birmingham was like, no, they're talking about season 6 with us, our producer. And I was like, I just don't see it. I still feel like this is not going to happen. And when it didn't, I wasn't sad about it, if I'm being honest, because I felt like 5 seasons was a long time to do it. I was relieved. It was really emotionally hard. Looking back, I'm super glad I did it. I think a lot of people who do the show and then it ends, they have a lot of bad blood, maybe with Bravo or with the production or with each other. I really don't feel that way. I don't wish ill will on anybody that I filmed with. I don't hate anybody that I filmed with. I think a lot of the people who don't get along, it's actually really sad because life is way too short to hold such big grudges. And I think that sometimes letting go is not for the person, it's for you. Finding peace is important. But I've done a lot of EMDR therapy and therapy in the past 5 to 6 years, so maybe that's why. But I was relieved because it was hard for me to juggle being a mom and being a housewife and a wife. Honestly, it was really hard on my marriage. Looking back, I was always in survival mode. And I think your husband and kids pick up on that. And but
I think that was a product of kind of what you were talking about earlier. There was no cohesion between the cast. And I remember you and I talked about this kind of every year between seasons, was like, there needs to be a sit down meeting because this is a business. Like at the end of the day, y'all are collectively, like if we really tally up how much everyone's making, it's a lot of money that y'all are pulling in, but no one could all come together. There was no moment where everyone come together and be like, all right, guys, we're making a show. Here's what it is, because everyone wanted to be center star. Everyone wanted to be seen in the best light. No one wanted to be the bad guy, except Leanne was kind of always okay with taking that role to some extent. And I think when she was gone, she was missed because she was the one that would take the hit there.
I think she was I really do. I think she was a big asset to the show. And I'm never going to, I think everybody had their part to play. And I think everybody did their best with what they knew and what they did. And I think a lot of feelings got hurt. And I think sometimes people took it too far.
Feelings got hurt more when the show was airing than when you were filming.
Yes.
Because I think season 5, you enjoyed filming that, but that was probably the season that you hated the show airing the most. It was all the behind the scenes stuff that never even made it on social media. It was just all the behind the scenes chatter that was like so miserable.
Yeah. But I don't know. But also I do feel like, I think season 2 and 3 were probably our best 2 seasons. And then it died. But season 5, I had fun filming it. It was fine. It was a good way to end, like the filming itself. I felt like everybody kind of ended on good terms until they didn't.
I remember you feeling like there was a pretty little bow tied on that. Yeah. Right after you finished, you were like, that was good. I'm at peace with this.
Yeah. But it's always interesting because I think when the audience gets involved, it can be the most fun part of it, but then it can also be the most, where everybody's like on Twitter trying to, like the Twitter people be like, yes, queen, whatever. I just felt like people seek attention of outsiders so much that it and I think that happens in every franchise. It almost ruins it because you're like, wait, you didn't tell me you felt that way whenever we were filming, or, it's almost like they want a viral Twitter moment more than they want a friendship. And then people end up hurting each other. And it feels like just almost like a fever dream. It was I really, and I say this, and I really enjoyed my time. I'm super glad I did it. I really love Andy. He was always really great to me. The producers were great to me. I do not have if I could go back and be that girl that I was and know everything I knew, what would happen going into it, I would sign up for it again in a second, back at that time of my life. This time of my life, I don't think Housewives I don't think I'd be the same housewife as I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think me being naive kind of helped me a little bit. And now
you just know too much almost.
Yeah, you almost know too much. Like the curtains pulled back. I just did not love the group scenes. I loved the family stuff. I loved the personal story, but I felt like I did not love. I never wanted to go on and drag another woman. I never wanted to go on and, even if there were rumors swirling about other people, which there always were behind the scenes. I don't know it for a fact. Even if I did know it for a fact, if your life was falling apart and I knew that for a fact, I would not go and put the nail in your car. I just wouldn't do it. It's just not who I am. And I think you probably have to have a little bit of that in you to be like a, iconic housewife. And I just never had it. I don't have it in me. I have to live with myself, and I can live with myself on that show. And, but I think a lot of people have a lot of trauma from doing it. Yes.
All right, we got to take a break real quick, but when we get back, I want to hear from you, Stephanie, what you think would have made the show better. All right. So Stephanie, what do you think would have made the show better? What do you think would have gotten y'all to a season 6? So there's one theory I saw.
I think we needed a strong villain. Like, I think you need like a strong, like, I hate saying villain, but somebody who Because I think a villain just means a super unlikable person with no redeeming qualities. I don't believe that to be true.
Someone who moves the drama along.
Yeah, somebody who moves it along. Somebody who is, I think Leanne was great because she did move the drama along. But she was also like a little ridiculous, which really helped. Like it was kind of funny. Like, I mean, she was kind of looking back, she scared the shit out of me when like the first few seasons, because I was like, oh my gosh, she's so much. But looking back, she just knew how to move it along. And I think
she did, but she still took things too personal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She would get it there, but then she'd go just a little too far. And it's like, ooh, all right, you
need like
lost
a Christine
me.
Quinn. If we had like a Christine Quinn, you need somebody
or a Lisa Rinna, or
Yeah.
someone that'll say what needs to be said, but also still knows what a boundary is.
Yeah.
I think the boundary was always crossed just by a hair with her.
And I think if we all got together and then, but you know what, then maybe it wouldn't feel authentic if we all got together and we were like, hey, we're making a show and here's the deal.
But
like,
that's the truth.
At the end of the day, like I wish that we were like a football team, you know, like we're out here, we're going to do this. And at the end of the day, we are all putting ourselves out here. And I forget the quote, but it's Brene Brown. And she's pretty much like, if you're in the arena, then you can talk about the arena and criticize people in the arena. But if you're not out here putting yourself out there in the arena and putting yourself out there to be criticized and critiqued, then I don't want to hear what you have to say. Like, I think it's really easy to judge people like on any of these shows and even the villains. But if you're not out there doing it, you've no idea how hard it is. Like, I feel for every single person who's on reality TV because I've been there and I feel like I had it really, really, really easy compared to 99% of the people. I'm going to be honest. I did. And I acknowledge that. But it's even whenever you feel like you didn't have a very traumatic experience, it's still traumatic because the whole time that you're doing it, you're holding your breath thinking my world is going to, the floor could drop at any moment. And if my floor drops, and if somebody comes in and makes up horrible things about my life and says horrible things and tries to destroy the things that I hold dear, which would be like my children or my husband or anything, and that, you know, then it's like you have to pick up the pieces of whatever somebody decides to do. And
that's where I think the respect for each other was missing. Was like when I say it went a hair too far, there was nothing that was totally off limits for certain people, which just isn't fair.
Yeah.
Not everyone signs up for this. I think what also made it difficult was going to events and being like, oh, why is so-and-so's PR person here? Or, oh, why is that reporter here? Like who and why you don't feel safe in your job environment.
Yeah.
That makes you kind of hold back in what you're performing because you're like, well, yeah, I can give you this on camera, but they're going to go tweet about it and then it's going to be out there and then it's going to ruin the rest of my seat. Like, there was not a sense of safety always.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really read D magazine either. I am not that person that like Google, you know, if something Stephanie Hollman pops up on Google, I'm not going to see it. And I would appreciate if people just never tell me about it either.
I will tell you in the comments though, people are like, Stephanie Hollman's a star, but there were two big things that people said were the reason the show failed. One was racist remarks. The second one was, and I agree with this part, the production company was wrong. That production company had never done a Real Housewives show. A lot of the other production companies work on other Real Housewives shows, so they know the format. I think there was so much stuff that you filmed that would have made much better television than what they aired. I don't know that the production company fully did it justice, if I'm being honest.
See, I disagree. I disagree with the production company thing. That one I do disagree with because the production company gave an amazing, I would say season 2, season 3, people were saying we were the best housewife show out there. One of the best housewife shows out there. We had a very cohesive cast, but we also had really great, it's all about the editing. I think the production company changed editors probably, and it's all about your storytellers and the people that they have in there editing the show. And you have to have like witty, funny, the editors changed. I believe seasons 4 and 5, if I'm not mistaken. And I could tell a shift because it went from being like lighthearted and ridiculous to let's bring anything dark that we can and just
which was the wrong time because season 5 aired in 2021. That was filmed during COVID. The world was dark. Like, that's where you really needed to bring the funny, and you lost. There were so many funny moments that I think could have been highlighted more or just better, that it was lost. It lost its humor, but that was the beauty of Dallas. It was, y'all were rich and stupid. Like, it was just the humor was just, it was silly. It was stupid. It was funny.
And it was what, I think that was our charm. And when you lost that, I think you lost the essence of Dallas. And that's my opinion. So I think Goodbye Pictures was amazing. I'm not going to ever say anything bad about them. They were great, and they were like a family, and they always treated me very kindly. And I can't say it's them, because I think season 2 and 3 were phenomenal seasons. And the editing was top notch, and our producers were fantastic.
Season 2 and 3, you definitely had the best production crew. Yes. You had great producers. I mean, one of the producers
even the editor, like even the people like at Goodbye Pictures, I felt like they had the best like editors. People, you know, you have all this footage, and they have to go in and edit this footage, and you had people that were just super creative and very funny. I mean, I would go to Goodbye Pictures, all of us would, and say hi to people, and you had these like very witty, like fun, young, hip editors who were there to, I mean, they would entertain themselves with clips. Like, they would think it was so funny.
Yeah. But like, you had James season 2 and 3, and he's the one that came in, I think, midway through production on season 1 of Salt Lake, and he's been with Salt Lake ever since. And he like was like, all right, here's the rhythm, here's how we're doing it. He knew the housewife format. That's what I think made that. So you had good producers. Season 5, I remember us saying this. It was like they were trying to extract drama that wasn't there, so that it almost felt a little inauthentic. And I remember us saying, like, they're trying to make this like The Hills. Like, they're trying to make this something that we're not. Yeah. There was one producer in particular, I'm sure you know who I'm thinking of, she was just always trying to bring something that wasn't there. But that was where they were pulling the humor out of the show. I don't know, because I was always I liked I really haven't, I've never like hated a producer. I really haven't. I've really appreciated all my producers, but you have to realize a producer's job is to find drama. And if they can't organically find it, they have to try to weave it in and make it. And I don't know. So, and if you're giving them nothing, they will create something. Like, they will, you know, so it's almost better to give them something than to have them, like, you know, squeeze a turnip pretty much. Well, I think it was also hard because really y'all weren't doing anything when y'all filmed season 5. Like, everyone was stuck at home.
No, season 5 was horrible. I mean, it was, that was probably season 5 was, we should not have filmed so early into COVID. It was boring to film. I mean, we live in Texas. Our 2 cast trips were I think we went to Fort Worth, and then we went to Austin. I mean, we should have but I also get that Bravo needed content, and they were like, these stupid Texans, they'll go out and film. Texas
was also one of the only states that was like even semi-open.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, I don't know. But it's so weird because I really honor that time in my life, but it doesn't define me anymore, if that makes sense. So
I think it's very interesting how everyone has grown since the show. Yeah. And there are certain people you still see around town and hear about and all that stuff. And there are some that you don't. But I think your life I would argue, has changed the most since the show aired.
Maybe Brandy's more because she has now another child like than she did. So maybe she has a whole new baby. But yeah, I would say my life is very different. Yeah, it's very, very, very different. Yes,
it is.
But in every aspect, but in a way that I'm super proud of, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. All right, I have one more question for you, but we have to take a break real quick. We will be right back. Okay, you can answer this or not.
Okay.
Have you been approached about doing a season 6 since season 5 wrapped?
I've been called, not from Bravo, but from an unnamed thing about like how they love the season 2 and 3 cast and doing something kind of, you know, a little adjacent but a little different. If I'm being honest, I did not really want to go back to that space because I feel like I'm in a really good place right now. And my kids are at a very different time in their life. And it would be more, I think, about the women. But I honor that time of my life, but I don't know if I want to go back to that time of my life. I really don't. And I don't feel like I'm missing out. I know a lot of the girls, and I think it's actually a really great thing. And it says a lot about, Bravo and obviously how much they loved being housewives. A lot of the girls on my cast, I think, would love to go back and revamp it and do it again. I don't know if I would. I'm trying to take this very carefully because I know a lot of people listening are people who are fans of the show and who did enjoy the show. I'm in a place in my life where I feel like my marriage is the best it's ever been. And I've been very intentional about that. And so is Travis. And my kids are super duper happy. And I just feel like my life is everything I always wished it was when I was doing the show, if I'm being honest. And I almost have too much to lose now. Yeah. Like I can't, makes me tear up. I would be scared to lose what I have now because what I have now is everything I wished it was for the whole time I was doing the show. When I was doing the show, sometimes I felt like I was a little bit white knuckling my life. I was just barely making it through. And I don't feel like I'm in that place anymore. And I don't want to go back there. I would be scared to lose something really important. I don't think I'm the kind of person that can emotionally juggle a lot of stress and a family gracefully. Like I can't.
Well, I don't think people understand how much work it actually is. I filmed something with Zach and his sister over the weekend for like 4 days. And at one point, Zach's sister lays on the couch. She had like 20 minutes while they were resetting things. And she was like, it is crazy that we've been doing this for 7 hours and this is going to be like 3 minutes on television. And I was like, yeah, imagine doing this for 4 months, every day for 4 months, 1 day off a week, every day for 4 months, just like this. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, that's what Stephanie did for 5-6 years. It was
really hard.
It was long days. There was no chance of you scheduling anything outside of that show unless it was on your day off. And even your day off was a little like iffy on whether that was going to be your day off or not.
Yeah.
It was very time consuming and it really consumed your life for that amount of time.
Yeah. I mean, Mother's Day, for example, I was with the kids and Travis and we had a great lunch at Travis's country club. And then we went to dinner that night and the kids, Travis was like, here, go buy your mom, go buy your mom some, gifts. And they were ridiculous gifts, but they were great. Like they picked them out and now I'm going to have a huge Magikarp Pokemon fish thing in my house because my one son thought he was really funny and bought me a huge Pokemon stuffed animal and then a Rubble from Paw Patrol, like little figurine. I was like, wow, Cruz, thank you. This is so thoughtful. But I will keep it because
exactly what mommy wanted.
Yeah. Like you knew exactly what I wanted for my bedroom. Thank you. But like, it made me kind of sad at the end because we were sitting there talking and I think the kids thought they were being funny and they are very funny kids. And we do have a tendency as a family to kind of like joke and kind of poke at each other. Right. And my sister was there and with my nephew, and they were saying something about how somebody was picked up late. I don't know if it was my brother-in-law or somebody. Oh, I remember when my mom forgot to get me. And I do not remember this, but obviously Cruz does. And he was like, yeah, I remember when, mom forgot to get me because she was filming and she thought Trey was getting me, but he wasn't. And then they had to call dad to come get me. And he was, and he had to show up 30 minutes later. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible parent on Mother's Day. I was like, wow, I feel really bad about stuff like that.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember it at all.
I remember you oftentimes taking off your microphone, getting in your car and just leaving. And you're like, you really, above every other job you had at that time, mom was still number one. Like, that's my memory of that was like you
Well, one day
that never changed.
One day I really dropped the ball, but it made me feel so guilty because I was like, shit, I hate that that's a core memory for my child, is that one day I was probably so wrapped up in filming, and I probably thought I had it taken care of, and I probably didn't. I probably was just like, oh, I'm going to call Trey, or I'm going to tell Travis, and I probably just didn't. I probably did not take that 5 seconds to take my mic off and get on the phone and make sure that my kid was taken care of. And that's like something that I hate. I really do hate that. There's another time where with Cruz, I remember, I really do. Like, I'm that mom that if I fuck up, I will beat myself up about it. And I apologized to Cruz a few years ago about it. And he was like, I don't remember this, but you do remember this one. Thanks, bud. But I remember getting an email. This was, I think, season 1 or 2. And he was at Lamplighter, which is a great school. And they have it where like the mommy and me play date. So the moms come and play at recess with your kid. And Chance was also going there at the time. So I had 2 of those. And the email was written like a little weird. And I'm also ADD. So I feel like sometimes I skim and I really don't like dig in and be like, okay, this is what it is. But it had like different times for different like classrooms or different, what A or B or whatever. And I read it wrong. And I was filming at the time, and I took off, and I remember sitting in the parking lot because I was early. And then I go to get my kid in the classroom, and he turns, and he's by himself, and he turns around, looks at me, and just starts bawling. And then I realized that I had dropped the ball, and his mommy and me recess was 30 minutes before I got there. And I was like, I've never felt like a worse parent. So all of that is why I can never, my son right now is 16. And if they said, I want to bring Housewives back for season 6, I would be like, well, I'll see you in 4 years if you want me. I have to get these kids through school. Mm-hmm. Like right now, they're so happy. They're the happiest they've ever been. I feel like our family is great. And there's not $100 million would not have me give up, like risking their happiness. And they're at a point where they really need me. 14 and 16 are very pivotal times, especially for boys. So I would do Traders. I would do other, there's a lot of little shows.
To see you on Traders.
I would do small show. I would do something that needed minimal filming where I could go and it's fun and it's a experience, and then I can go back to my real life. But a series is a lot of time and effort and energy that I don't think I would put in what I would need to. It would not be fair to the audience or to my family, because I wouldn't put my heart and soul into it, because I would not have it to give at the moment.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you have any regrets about the show? Anything you would change?
Yeah, now that I'm older and I feel like I'm now in my mid 40s. I think I would say things quicker. I feel like I always felt things, but I never said them. I was always so scared of hurting someone's feelings or upsetting somebody, and I think I would say things faster to everybody. There's not one person I wouldn't say stuff to. But I would still be kind of a dick in my, confessionals. I really enjoyed that. I mean, I'm not going to ever apologize because I felt like that was her comedy hour. That was my comedy hour. I had fun. It was the only way that I enjoyed confessionals. I'm not taking anything back in my confessionals. Okay. I'm not doing it. Don't ask me.
I think the 2 things you should apologize for are the bangs that you wore that
that was
confessional.
Bad. That was
and I think you should apologize to your family for the amount of pot roast you made.
Yes. The amount of pot roast. Yeah. But no, there were times when I wish I would have said something, spoken up more, where I felt something, especially when people were being horrible to each other. And I think a lot of times I just sat there in shock. And I'm not great with conflict. Even my cousin who works for Travis is wow, it's, if we've ever been in conflict, she's wow, you just kind of I really am that person that will sit there and take things in. If he's being rude, I just will kind of sit there, and I really have to internalize things before I speak. I've always been that way. If you're a therapist, you can tell me why, but I've always kind of sat on things before I spoke on things, because I think in life, I would rather wait and marinate over how I feel about things and then say things in a way that's not offensive than say something that I can never take back. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's not, I don't know if that's a good housewife though. Because I think you have to be able to be like, bitch, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just not, I just don't have it in me. It's just not who I am. And good or bad, I wish I was more like that. Like, you know me, I will apologize if I hurt people's feelings, but I will not chase somebody. Mm-hmm. I will tell people how I feel, but usually if my heart's pounding, I can't speak. Like, if I feel attacked or I feel uncomfortable, I almost go in like a survival mode where I almost can't speak or I can't think. Like, there were so many times where I filmed the show and things would be happening with the girls. And if you
just shut down.
I do. I shut down emotionally. And Brandy would remember everything that happened. Like, every single thing everybody said. I could not remember anything. Mm-hmm. Like, I would remember kind of the gist of things, but in confessionals, I would have to have our producers, I'd be like, what was said? I almost went in survival mode. Maybe it's something from my childhood. But it's a very weird thing. But that's just me. So if I'm sure a therapist listening is like, wow, that girl has issues, but that's just me. You know that about me though. Yeah.
Well, thank you for your recap. I will just reiterate, I do not think Real Housewives of Dallas failed by any means. They had 5 strong seasons. I think you had a great run. I think it ended right when it needed to end for you too. Yeah,
it did. I mean, I'm super grateful. Whenever I thought it was coming back for a hot minute, I was like, maybe I was wrong. The owner of the production company kept calling me and he was like, Hollman, are you in or are you out? And I was like, I don't know.
This was when?
After season 5, when they were talking about 6. Mm-hmm. And I was 1 foot in and 1 foot out the door, if I'm being honest. But I know who was going to be asked back. I'm not going to ever say, and I know who wasn't.
Ooh.
Because they told me. But I will never say that because that's not fair to people who have no idea. Uh-huh. But yes, I do know who was going to be asked back and who wasn't.
Would it have been at least half the cast that was asked back?
Not many of us were going to be asked back.
But you were one of them. I do remember there was a girl that was going to be on the new Real Housewives of New York that I think was going to be on Dallas.
Oh, yeah. I think they were looking at her, yeah.
And then she ended up going to New York. I don't know if she was
for sure. I think they were just looking at people. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing. Maybe they were looking at people and they couldn't find like a strong enough cohesive group. Mm-hmm. There was one girl that that you know and I know, and that I was like, oh, she would be an amazing TV to watch. The one, like my friend who has like humongous diamonds and everything. I was like, she would be just, like.
Really? She was...
Well, I brought her up thinking she would never do it, but I actually think she would now that I know her.
I think she would have. Mm-hmm.
But at the time I was like, well, maybe a friend up, but I was just like, she would just be like good, like, lifestyle porn.
Yeah. There were a lot of comments about like the cast was just wrong. And there are a lot of great people that would make great reality television in Dallas, and none of them would ever touch this show with a 10-foot pole because they have way too many skeletons in their closet. There's way too much to lose. Mm-hmm. Like, you will never, like, it just wouldn't make sense.
I mean, the big, like,
or they want creative control, which they're never going to get.
Yes.
Like Charlotte Jones Anderson, you're never going to catch her in front of a camera that she is not controlling editing. That's never going to happen.
No, I mean,
the Hunts, nope.
No way. But also, they don't need it. I don't think.
It's more of a liability than an asset.
Yeah, because it's like you could. Here's the deal: if you have like a lot of these Dallas families are like in many senses, I would say dynasties, right? And some of the big dynasty families are some of the nicest. I don't know them. Like, I don't know their skeletons, nor do I want to. But like, I will say in person, some of the nicest people. I really like, some people think wealthy people are just, all wealthy people are horrible. I don't agree with that. I think money will magnify who you are as a person. If you're a good person and you have a lot of money, it will magnify that. if you're a monster, God help you if you have money, right?
I also want to say, because this person's comment on an Instagram post about this article was like one of the top liked comments. The casting process brought out the worst people in this city. It was like they were hunting. It was to get on this show. There are so many people, especially in the article's comments, that are like, yeah, this is why this didn't work, that applied to be on the show. And there's one person in particular that I remember, she started a rumor about herself, about her having an affair with one of the ladies' husbands, put it all over the blogs. It wasn't true. And she wasn't even in the running to make it on the show, but she was trying that hard to get on the show.
I want to know who it is.
I'll show you exactly who it is, because I remember her Instagram handle and I was like, oh, not you, ho.
Oh my gosh. It is kind of funny. When season 1 first came out, I was like, oh, everybody is going to be so happy for us, like this is kind of fun. And I really didn't know what I was getting into. So I was just like, oh, this is going to be a fun, silly reality TV show, right? And we had not filmed anything really. But the people were, after it came out that I was on the show, and I remember them doing like a group of who like supposedly is on the show, and then them being like, Stephanie Hollman is a long shot, like they threw me out there at one point, but I was like a long shot, like, and I don't think people would ever think I'd be one of the housewives, because I'm pretty quiet, like mild-mannered person, and I also, people don't know I'm, have a really stupid humor either, because I have to keep that under wraps. So that way I have friends until they get to know me. And then I'm like, hey, I'm pretty funny. But I remember thinking all these people, and a lot of it was like charity work, right? I remember thinking all these people who, I see at charity events and they're so nice, and everyone's doing good for all these organizations. They're just, going to be so happy for us and da-da-da-da-da. When I say it was like having the plague when it first came out, like I would go to charity events before and everyone was so nice, right? And they were all like, oh, wanting to get to know you. And then whenever they found out you're on a show, it was almost like, I took it as people were mad that it was happening. But then when they started casting for season 2, I realized, no, these hosts wanted to be on it.
Those same people.
Those haters are now auditioning. And it kind of pissed me off a little bit, because I was like, why be an asshole?
Like everyone's just a little fake about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why be rude? Why not just say, that's cool. Can you give can you give them my name for, the next year? But that was something that really bothered me, is like how fake it felt whenever people
you never knew what people's intentions were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's kind of when I realized, okay, people aren't always who they seem to be.
That's the real tea.
That's it. But thank you guys so much for listening and supporting. You can follow me at Steph Hollman on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
You can follow me at Trey_Stewart. You can follow our podcast at BS the Podcast. You can watch us on YouTube at Weekly Dose of BS. Bye.
Yay Media Group.